Есікке керілме.
It's a bad luck to lean against doorpost and against the wall. Don't stand on the threshold. Don't cluck your tongue. Some superstitions are so ingrained in modern Kazakh-speaking society that everyone succumbed to them. Hello, you're watching Kazakh life.The program. Today we will talk about superstitions and taboos.
Үлкен тәрбие берген. Армысыз ардақты ағайын. Сіздермен бірге Kazakh life.The бағдарламасы. Бүгінгі әңгімеміз Қазақтың ырымдары мен тыйымдары жайында болмақ.
People trace superstitions back to ancient times. Prohibitions accompany the centuries-old traditions and rites of the Kazakh people and have been firmly established in everyday life, occupying a special place. Our guest, Shota Karlygash Nugmankyzy, will tell in detail about superstitions. She's a teacher at Temirbek Zhurgenov Academy of Arts, professor, Kazakhstan's excellent student of education.
Беру саласының үздігі Shota Karlygash Nugmankyzy ортамызда. Қош келдіңіз, Karlygash ханым.
Welcome to our studio. Please tell us about superstitions and taboos.
Иә, ырым тыйым деп өзі аталып тұрғандай, әр халықтың өзінің ырымы болады.
Every nation has its own superstitions to invoke good luck signs. People hope for a favorable outcome for success. Accordingly, some rituals and signs originated. Taboos are intended for people to avoid bad luck, an evil eye. It's a kind of warning, restriction. Yes, they're used in order to prevent something bad. Similar signs have always been used by the people while bringing up their children. Yes. Kazakh people's superstitions wended their way up through the ages. They cover all spheres of life, such as parenting, family relations. From early childhood, we constantly hear various taboos from elder women. These taboos have a deep meaning. For example, Tokash Berdiyarov, in his story Bread, described one of the rituals. The father of the family leaves for the war. He bites bread, which his wife then carefully keeps at home. This symbolizes his safe return to homeland and eating that bread. It's a wonderful example. Do they finally meet again? Of course. It was doubtful. Thanks to such rituals, we continue to believe in positive outcome. Taboos also occupy a special place in our lives. Usually children wanted to be aware of the meaning of taboos, asking why, what will happen. We told that it could summon bad luck.
Болмайды, ар жағында не болады деп қызығып сұраймыз ғой, сол кезде жаман болады.
It's simply bad omen.
Ал енді неге жаман болады?
Yes, there is a common answer. Having known history, ethnography, listening to the conversations of elders, we regarded superstitions and taboos carefully. For example, don't run in the direction of home. It turns out that someone can run towards the house. Why? It's a sign of troubles. Yes. What is it based on? If a person runs to the house, then he has bad news. He hurries to deliver bad news. Where is he running to? In the past, people thought that someone is hurrying towards home to deliver a message from war. Presently, of course, we can send a telegram or just talk on the phone.
Іштей жаңағы ұғынған. Ал енді кіріп келе сап қазір телеграмманың қолына ұстата салады, немесе мына телефоннан айта саламыз.
It meant delivering bad news. Kazakhs never tell bad news directly. They made it clear.
Астырлап жеткізген. Сонда есіктен кіріп келген адам, жаңағы үйге қарай жүгіріп келген адам, басын мынау
It's better to know the best approaches to breaking bad news. For example, a messenger could touch his head to the top of the door jamb and stand up, with both hands holding the doorway. Here it's necessary to remember the taboo not to step on the threshold. At this moment, hosts and women immediately realized that the messenger had said news. They understood that trouble happened with someone's husband or son.
ұлдан, я осы үйдің отағасынан бір хабар әкеп тұр ғой деп, бірден әлгіні біле қойған. Көрдіңіз бе, мінекей сондай тыйымдар.
There are still taboos such as not to point toward the grave, not to point with a finger at the moon, and so on.
Тағы да сондай тыйымдар өте көп. Қызға тыйым.
Don't be hoarse.
Я ішегіңді тартпа.
Don't wheeze pretentiously. It's also harmful from a medical point of view. It's a bad luck to kick cattle. Such instructions carry an educational character. There are many prohibitions among people in all spheres. For example, why can we point out with finger to the moon? They say that a pointing person will fall in trouble. Therefore, people regarded the moon with respect. There is a saying, a solar eclipse is a bad sign for non-believers, a lunar eclipse is a bad sign for Muslims. People who follow religion worship the moon.
Күн тұтылса, кәпірге бір қатер төнеді, ал енді ай тұтылса, мұсылманға бір қатер төнеді деген сенім бар. Мұсылман халқы жалпы айды өте.
A moonless night is believed to have covered the whole world with a dusty mist, spread of diseases. We believe in moon folklore and superstitions because we're so overly aware of how powerful it is. It protects from troubles. Yes. Karlygash, can it happen that a person regrets of failing to follow the sign, realizing it?
Мүмкін бе?
Енді біз ырымшыл халықпыз ғой. Негізі біле тұрған нәрсені ұстанған дұрыс негізі. Бірақ та қазақ тағы ескертеді.
We are superstitious people. In general, it's better to follow superstitions if you are aware of them. People wish that omens come true, but they're unwilling of it.
Көңілге қонатын ырымдар бар. Жаңағы сіз айтып отырғандай.
What does it mean? There are signs, quite reasonable, convincing. There are also incomprehensible ones. For example, if a snake crawled across the path, then you must kill it. Well, in case a cat crosses your path, which is believed to be an omen of misfortune, what should we do with a cat? Well, we say, spit over your shoulder and cross the path. If people believe in all superstitions, then it will become impossible to live. So let some signs come true, but some left not observed. Everyone should live their own life, guided by what they know and understand, what they believe in.
Ақ көйлек кіршен келеді,
As they say, a white dress is easily soiled. People's mood swings. Sometimes a single word is enough to upset a person. At the same time, the word can reassure, encourage. One can ask not to take anything to heart, to interpret a bad sign or accept positively as a good omen.
тоқтау айтуға да болады. Енді қазір 21-ші ғасырда
We live in the 21st century when everyone has its own principles. Some of our compatriots believe in the signs of other nations. What do you think about it?
осыған қалай қарайсыз?
Енді әр халықтың өзінің ырымы бар. Мысалы, кейбір халықтардың жаңағы айттық қой, жақсылығын.
Each nation has its own signs. Probably it's worth adopting the good superstitions, escaping the negative ones. For example, Russian people believe that when a baby has his navel bulged outwards, it's necessary to heal it through prayer. We don't have that. Probably someone follow it.
Солардың бір осы оқуынан кейде бір жазылып кететін нәрселер болады. Ал енді
Sometimes healing with a prayer is enough to solve such an issue. I think it's reasonable, rather than to follow senseless signs. It's better not to follow them.
Қажеті жоқ. Мысалы, табалдырықты баспа деген оларда да бар. Себебі өте ерте кезде
Yes, we should not follow them. For example, it's forbidden to step on the threshold. In the old days, Russians did not demolish old houses for certain reasons. For example, if an expecting woman's pregnancy ends in miscarriage, a baby was buried under the threshold. If the woman later moved, the old house was cherished and revered as a sacred place. Probably, this is one of the reasons Russians became settled people. Nevertheless, a messenger who delivered bad news usually stood on the threshold. People also say it's bad luck to sit on one's haunches. Otherwise, the whole life will be spent alone.
Үлкен тізеңді құшақтап жатпа дейді, өмір бойы жалғыз өтуің мүмкін.
Қазақта әдемі сөз бар.
Wise Kazakh people say, there is no mountain higher than the threshold, there is no enemy more dangerous than a wicked relative. It's believed that the worst thing that can happen to a man is when he has enemies among relatives. Threshold is considered a sacred part of the house. If someone carefully steps over the threshold, he will be welcomed as a friend and becomes a member of the family. A young woman who married and crossed her groom's house's threshold was no longer supposed to return to her father's house. There is also an educational value.
Жалпы ырым тыйым деп енді оларды бөле қарастырудың онша әбестігі жоқ.
In general, superstitions and taboos cannot be considered as separate phenomena, since they constitute the basis of education. This is a powerful tool in the responsible task of educating the younger generation.
Немерелерімізді тәрбиелеуге өте керекті құрал. Мысалы, сөз сүйектен өтеді дейді. Сонда
As they say, the word possesses enough powers to educate and teach people. This is an important challenge. In the old days, there were no prisons in our steppes, as well as no nursing homes. The reason is that the word was the most powerful instrument among people.
неге? Бәрі де сол сөздің құдіреті. Сөзді сүйектен өткізе отырып.
Our ancestors used wise words to stop enmity, to encourage each other, to inspire, and to teach. All issues were decided wisely through negotiations. It's our words that provide a bold affirmation of our innermost thoughts. The poet Joly said, "The word becomes an empty sound if there is no one to hear it. Therefore, I will be glad if our conversation is useful for young people who can learn something important and make conclusions."
Осыдан кішкене болса да түйін түйіп, бір өздеріне қажеттілігін алып отырса, нұр үстіне нұр болар еді.
Thank you so much for conversation. We learned useful information. Be sure to come to us again. Thank you.
Ырымдар бұл
Superstitious beliefs constitute essential part of rituals and ceremonies. They have many varieties, interpretations, and methods of execution.
оның таңдайы тақылдаған шешен болсын, немесе әнші болсын деп жатады. Біреулер өзінің баласы отаншыл болсын, жер.
For example, when someone spits into a child's mouth as a belief that he will become a skilled orator or a famous singer. Another superstition is when a child is rolled down in the soil so that he grows up a patriot, loves deeply his homeland, and grows up as an intelligent person.
Төменгі төсенішінің бас жағына кішкентай пышақ қойған. Сонымен қатар, сәби егер
For example, a child cries and cannot calm down. In this case, at the head of the cradle, a small knife was put under the lowest mattress with the belief that the child will calm down. If a baby has his nights and days mixed up, he was swaddled wrong side out. One of the bright examples is when guests take sweets from the table, sarqat, as a sign that their families would also celebrate such event.
заман өзгеріп, техника
Times have changed. We live in the era of advanced technologies. Many signs have also changed. For example, cinema artists also believe in relevant superstitions and prohibitions.
жаңадан шығып та жатады. Оған дәлел біздің кино өндірісінде де неше бір түрлі.
Our guest is a member of Kazakhstan Union of Cinematographers, a famous director Kanagat Mustafin.
Режиссер одағының мүшесі, белгілі режиссер Қанағат Мустафин. Қанағат, қош келдіңіз.
Welcome to Kazakh Live Dastur. Today we decided to tell our viewers about various signs and superstitions. Obviously, they changed in course of time. For example, there is such a ritual when the name of movie and names of actors as well as of a director are written on the porcelain plate. With the belief of good luck, this plate is broken at the beginning of shooting. Tell us please more about relevant superstitions.
Соған киноның атын жазып, режиссердің атын жазып, тағы да басқа жазулар жазып сындырып жатады. Сол жайында айтсаңыз.
Бұл негізі кеңес дәуірінен келе жатқан ырым.
The sign originated in the Soviet times. A plate is broken and each member of the film crew puts its fragment in his pocket.
Иә. Сосын жаңа кино болсын, немесе телехикая болсын, сол түсірілімі біткен кезде, жаңа автопати деп айтамыз ғой. Сол жиналған кезде жаңағы.
And when the shooting ends, a party is organized, the so-called after party, where the plate is reassembled. And if all the fragments are in their places, the project is believed to be successful.
Сонда оған
It's an interesting sign, but it contradicts the quote, broken glass cannot be fixed.
қарсы шыққан ырым сияқты.
Filmmakers believe in many superstitions. For example, it is believed to be bad luck to husk seeds. What's the reason? In Soviet times, movies were shot on film. If someone from the film crew was husking seeds, then garbage could easily get into the camera and damage the film. After all, at that time, it was not possible to watch the material online. The film was developed, and only then any damages could be noticed.
Онлайн не отқан көре алмайсың, оны жаңа неге проявкаға апарасың, қарайсың. Сол кезде жаңағы семішкенің
Seed husk could be seen. Yes, the film turned out to be with a defect. Of course, now we apply digital media, but the sign has remained, and it's followed.
сол заманнан, сол баяғыдан қалған ырым.
I have some of my rituals. What kind? For instance, when I watch the playback, I don't allow anyone to stand behind me. Everyone in my crew knows this. We as well don't allow standing opposite. Therefore, they stand on the side, or I give the crew the playback's copy. The reason is that I really don't like it. I feel like some kind of warden is behind my back. These are the signs. In addition, we do not allow to drink alcohol on the set.
Ішімдік жаңағы ішуге болмайды.
Is it a bad sign? Yes, of course. Probably the next day this person will not be able to work good, so I prohibited drinking alcoholic beverages during the whole time of filming. Everyone who worked with me knows it and abides the rule.
Барлығы білет менімен істейтін адамдар. Барлығы жаңағы ондаймен айналыспайды.
Жеке басыңызға қатысты.
Do you have any signs or rituals unknown to others that serve as a guarantee of successful work on the project? Can you share them?
Ондай жобаға жоқ, бірақ өзім
No, I don't, but there are signs that are not related to the movie, in which I believe accordingly. My parents taught me these superstitions. For example, when we make a big purchase, a new house or
үй алатын болсаң, жаңағы не бір
a new car, for example. Yes, it should be cleansed first. You're right. By means of smudging. How do you smudge? I use juniper. Do you smudge yourself? Yes, I move around the house and smudge every corner. There is one more superstition regarding gifts. Presenting knives to friends is believed to be a bad sign. You're right, there is such a sign. These are the signs I believe in. Don't present steel arms. Yes, at least it should be symbolically sold for 100 tenge.
100 теңге болса да символически.
Сосын
In addition, a dog, a puppy, can be presented to someone. Yes, there are a lot of rules around sharp objects and time-telling devices, for example. Do not present watches because they symbolize the running out of time. As a child, I unknowingly gave my father watches. He explained to me that I shouldn't present watches to close people. Watches can be presented to friends, acquaintances, but not to family members, relatives. Yes, there are a lot of such signs and beliefs.
Еске келе береді, шыға береді.
You're both a director and screenwriter. What kind of signs do you associate with the scripts? There is a sign I believe in. It's a bad luck to present a pen. My father, the writer Jibek taught me it. Once I was going to give him a pen, and he said that I present my own spirit with the pen. He taught me such wise signs. I was then 16, 17 years old. Since then, I don't present pens to anyone. I can accept the pen as a gift, but I don't give it myself. I believe in this superstition.
Егер маған сыйласа алам, бірақ өзім ешқашан ондай сондай ырым бар.
керемет. Енді қаламсапты сыйлау немесе өзінің қалтасындағы
It's wonderful. The essence of such signs associated with a pen or a knife is as follows. People believe that luck can go away from them with a present. People believe the pen can bring good luck and happiness.
өз несібесі өзінде болу керек деп, ырыс бағы сол қаламсаптан табылуы мүмкін. Біреу сосын қазақта бас киім сыйламайды.
It's also a bad sign to present hats. There are two interpretations of it. First, it is believed that you lose luck along with the presented hat, and the second is that along with someone else's hat, you take away the troubles of that person. So it's better not to present hats to each other.
Ол кісінің қиындығы сізге ауып кетеді деген тағы да баламасы бар. Сондықтан жалпы бас киім беруге мүлдем болмайды екен. Енді Қанағат, сіз өзіңіз
Kanagat, you work in the sphere of Kazakh film industry, which is moving towards more progress recently and taking its first steps to success. Therefore, you belong to the young generation of filmmakers. We all know you very well. So we wish you to become famous and your movies to be popular all over the world. Amen. The purpose of our program is to acquaint the whole world with the Kazakh traditions and customs. Do your films popularize traditions?
Сіздің киноларыңызда біздің салт дәстүр бар ма?
Керемет жоба екен сізде. Әрине, міндетті түрде мен әр жобамда.
It's a very good project. Of course, I always dedicate a whole chapter to the traditions, or at least an episode in my works. I consider it to be my directorial duty. Great. The film industry plays an important cultural role. For example, there is a movie, 16 Kız, 16 Ladies. The moment in the comedy features the tradition of Belquda, which is almost forgotten nowadays. I pursued a specific purpose. For example, young people, after watching the movie, started to search on the internet the description of this rite. Thus, I can say that my mission has been completed. Therefore, I wanted to show the tradition of Belquda in the movie. The most beautiful movie features the tradition of тұсаукесер at the beginning.
Екінші ең сұлу деген картинамда тұсаукесер салтын көрсеттік киноның басында.
This is wonderful.
Сондай неше түрлі көп салт дәстүрлерді егер де ыңғай келіп жатса, мен әрине өзім сценарист ретінде соны енгіземін.
So as far as possible, as a screenwriter, I try to highlight traditions in my projects, and I will continue to do so. During the Soviet period, a completely different ideology reigned, as a result of which a lot of traditions and rites have been forgotten.
Идеология басқа болды ол кезде. Жаңа салт дәстүр ұмыттырып сол кезден бастап жаңа идеология.
Now we have opportunities to revive traditions, so why not bring them back? Presently, there is a program Рухани жаңғыру, spiritual revival.
Дәстүрді жаңғыртпауға. Сол себепті қазір жайлап жаңа рухани жаңғыру деген не бар.
Yes, it's a spiritual renewal. Do you support the program? Yes, I was born in the Western region. People there follow a wonderful tradition of Kurusu. People start to welcome Nowruz holiday on March 14th.
Сол көрісу дәстүрін
Nowruz is a grandiose holiday. It's a spring renewal. I want to thank your program. Thank you. There is a quote in English which sounds like step by step. It means to do something by progressing gradually. Therefore, let's move towards the intended goal gradually, step by step. Let our compatriots join us on this path. We wish our beautiful folk rites and traditions to be not forgotten and revived. We're grateful to you for coming to our studio and sharing an interesting information. We sincerely wish you to conquer cinema industry. May the Kazakh people be proud of you.
Нағыз бел ортасынан асып, қазақтың маңдайына біткен қаймағы болуыңызға тілектеспіз.
Thank you. Amen. Superstitions and prohibitions constitute Kazakh people's instrument of education, the rules of everyday life. You watched Kazakh life.The program with Tamara Assar. See you soon.